Hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's Zebra Report. So, I just got back from Spokane, where I was there for our state meetings, our legislative meetings with the BIAW. And I just want to give you an update of kind of what we can expect over the next year, what we're really focusing on. This affects housing. Everything I'm going to talk about will affect housing. So, I want to kind of talk about, I'm going to say the top 5 issues that we are going to be facing over the next few years. So, issue number one has to do with permitting and inspections reform. And why this is so important is because we are already at a huge disadvantage in terms of housing inventory. And don't let I will say, sudden increase in inventory fool you into thinking, oh, we're good to go. We're not. We have a sudden increase in inventory because people have been waiting to sell for a long time and interest rates have stayed stuck there and they're done. They need out, they need to sell. Okay. Yes, we have an increase in inventory, but we have a backlog of buyers that need to buy. And the problem we have is for builders and developers, our permitting and inspection times are taking too long. When I'm talking about inspections, I'm talking about inspections done at the permitting level. So, for example, maybe you have a wetland report that needs to be inspected. That takes time, and we don't have enough. Unfortunately, we don't have enough staff in many of our permitting offices. We just don't. We have a shortage. So that's creating an issue. So what we're trying to do at the state level, and also, by the way, at the national level, because I just also came back from Washington, D.C. Boy, June was a month of legislative overload. So I can tell you there's a lot going on. I have never, in my 33 years of being in this industry and in being specifically watching new construction, ever seen so much pressure towards reform. And we need reform because we don't have affordable housing. We don't have affordable housing because everything costs more money to build. So permitting and inspection reform is a huge priority. The next one has to do with impact fees and utility charges. We need impact fee reform in a huge way. Our utility connection costs, we're finding there's no consistency to that. So one county, one city, one area may have one fee and another area's got a fee 4 times that. So we need a uniform, something that makes sense system for how we charge for connection fees on new construction and our impact fees. The issue number 3, which is a big deal, has to do with land use and density. And that comes into our middle housing, all our middle housing bills and how that's changed. But we also now are moved on to lot splitting, which is a really big deal. And how is lot splitting going to work? How are we going to condoize these units? Can they be condoized depending on where you're at? Also looking at land use from a perspective of, is there an ability out there to utilize some of the government-owned land? And by the way, there's a ton, and I mean a ton of government-owned land out there that we need to be able to utilize so that we can build a more affordable product. Because the problem that builders and developers are having is that, first of all, for developers, the cost of raw land has gone up, but the cost of getting that land ready, and we call it getting it lot ready, is through the roof. So developers are already starting off at a disadvantage. From the builder's perspective, a finished lot, because those developers have had so many costs along the way, finished lots are so expensive that right now there's nothing out there that we can build that's affordable. In fact, I've heard people saying, well, we don't really like the word affordable housing anymore. We like the word attainable housing. You can call it attainable, you can call it reachable, you can call it affordable. You can name the dog anything you want to, but I'm looking at a dog. And we have a dog of a problem with our issues around affordable housing. We have a huge issue. There's no such thing right now as affordable housing. Now, also, as a builder, developer, and real estate expert, I'm going to tell you it all starts with the land. And if we can make some changes with land costs, and the other thing is a lot of our local cities and communities, when they go to their budget, their budget meetings every year, their budgets aren't balancing. Great, sell us some of that land that you've got, sell it at an affordable price so we can build affordable product. Even put a limitation on it, even put rules on it and say, we have land that we have targeted just for affordable housing. or attainable housing, whichever word you're using, and then work with that builder to build a product that's actually going to serve a purpose in your area for that. And when I talk about affordable housing, I'm not talking about low-end housing. I'm talking about it has become so unaffordable for people to live and work in their communities, right? So we need workforce housing. We need housing that is just for the average person out there that is going to work, putting their 40 hours in a week, and they simply want to be able to live somewhere. Okay, that was issue number 4. Issue number 5 is environmental regulations. I'll give you an example. I was recently looking at the map of Bellingham. I was looking at all of the lots in Bellingham that we possibly could buy as infill lots and build on. Here's the problem. Can't build on them because of the tree canopy laws that Bellingham has now instituted, and many other areas are instituting these tree laws. And by the way, I love my trees, but I will tell you that while I love trees, I would rather see families off the street more than saving a tree. I will save a family all day long over a tree. Now, I'm not about let's go down and clear cut everything. I'm talking about we need managed regulation around this. So instead of your city or county just saying, oh, there's a big tree on the property, we can't build on it. What we need to do is have that city or council saying, okay, or county saying, what, and take it to the city council level. We need to change the laws around this, because what we need them to say is, okay, we've got a big tree on this property. It is encroaching on, let's say, the setback area. Let's look at this lot and figure out a solution. Let's provide a variance on this lot so that we can build on this lot. That's what we need to do. We've got to provide that. So at the state level, I will tell you that I was very, very encouraged by everything that I heard at the state level. I can tell you right now that the Building Industry Association of Washington has done a phenomenal job fighting for the rights of people out there that want to live in homes. And that's the bottom line. So I'm just thrilled to be a part of it and be able to have a voice in that. And I will tell you, you guys know I'm working hard to reform as well. We need to have reform. And one of the things that I'm really passionate about is about utilizing what we already have in order to get where we need to go. We don't need to come up with some fancy new regulation. What we need is we need to sit down and look at what we've got and then come up with a very moderate plan that allows for additional building, something that serves developers, which ultimately then, if we help the developer helps the builder helps the end user, which is the home buyer. So that's what's going on at the state and national level. And I will tell you that the state, I believe, is moving faster on this reform than we are going to see federal reform, right? Because that takes a lot longer. But I am very, very hopeful. We're going to have a super robust legislative year next year, which starts pretty much from January through the end of April. We're in legislative sessions, and we are at the legislative meetings that I'm involved in. We meet every Tuesday morning at 7:30, and we're on it. So we are already thinking about the issues that we came back with. So when we hit the road, in January, we're going to hit it running, because we already know what we want to focus on in 2026. So just know that I believe there's some really good things coming down the road for housing. And I think it's just a matter of continuing to push for it. I will say that I encourage anybody in the real estate industry to get involved, whether that is with your local association, whether that is with the state association, whether that's nationally, right? But I will tell you that the one thing I have learned over the last few years since being involved is that we always want and need great people to get involved. So put your hat in the ring, get involved, and have a say, because your say matters. So thanks, guys.